patch 9.0 has received mixed reactions from the community. Many players are complaining that um, the favorite's block weapon has received a massive nerf in their speed, as you can see from right here. Block weapons received a massive nerf to speed, and shortly after the update, they announced that they would not be releasing the anticipated power axe. Instead, they're releasing a flamethrower. Now, while the community's reactions to these changes are mixed, I do believe that the solution's already kind of in the game. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, why I'm sitting here at the on the power sword specifically is because the power sword has four options: two balanced and fencing and blocking. You already know. None of the other melee weapons actually have four options. So what I'm thinking is, why not add in a another option for block weapons? So right here, you change this balance one because this one's obviously kind of worse than the other. Like this one's objectively worse because it has you're losing one damage for two speed, right? So this one's worse. So what if you make this like a new block version? And this is why people were using the artificer versions, because people enjoyed artificer versions because it gave players more options. But what you can do is you can change this version to a block weapon, and then you give it a little bit more speed, say four speed. You get four speed, and then you probably would have to probably just keep the strength the same, decrease the cleave potential. Just this is just an example of like what they could do. But now you would have two block options, and then you'd have a fencing and balance, and you just add this version to each weapon tree. So each weapon would have an extra like weapon slot. This way, you can now keep the new weapons that they made. So the increased strength you sacrifice for speed, because some people actually kind of do like. I think the time to kill values are lower, technically, on the new block versions compared to the old version, old artificer versions, right? So you can keep this, but for players who don't like feeling like they're super slow, then they can always have the option to take the faster version, but they lose out on a good bit of damage, right? Now, some potential problems with implementing this change are that you will have to basically give each weapon another skill point. Each melee weapon would have to have another skill point. But I'd argue that none of the only weapon that really benefit from an extra skill point is this one, where you could either take extra stomp damage or each consecutive light attack increases light attack damage. Those are the only two that really would benefit. Oh, really, this is the only weapon that really benefit from having an extra perk point. As you can see, the Thunder Hammer, I mean, an extra 10% more melee damage is not going to break the bank. And then, of course, extra pummel smash damage for 50%. Yeah, and enemies hit by pummel smash deal 30% less damage. I mean, like, that's not gonna break the game, right? And then here, this perk is useless, so you probably take this one. And Cannon Punch deals 50% more damage. It's not gonna break the game. Knife has an extra terminus level, 20% extra damage to terminus level enemies, and 15% extra damage to extremis level enemies. Neither of which I think will break the game. So why do I think this is the best route? Well, because, like I said, um, they had already announced that their anticipated power axe isn't coming, which upsets people because, I mean, it's a melee weapon, it's a new melee weapon, and the game's already kind of lacking in like variety. So this adds in more melee variety. On top of that, by just releasing the flamethrower to the heavy class, you only add in something new for one class system. I don't think that that's necessarily a good way about going about updates. So I think if you actually add in um, with that update, and when you combine these two, like you add the flamethrower and then you add in this, now everybody gets something a little bit new to test out, and can change a little bit of build variety um, upon patch 10.0. And like I'd previously stated, people do actually prefer to have the extra damage over the speed, and so you don't want to change that because then you affect those players when you could just add in an extra weapon slot. But that's all from me from this video. What do you think? Do you think that they should spend their time adding in this extra weapon slot, melee weapon slot, or do you think they should focus their intentions on other matters? Let me know down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.